Okay, let us continue with a few problems here. Now, let us look into this problem. A regular polygon of n sides is formed by bending a wire of length 2 pi r. What is the magnetic field at its center? Okay, so that is what we are supposed to find out. Now, let us try to get a generalized result. Okay, so for example, at the end, if you substitute n as 3, so you should be getting magnetic field due to a triangle. Okay, regular polygon means equilateral triangle, square, a regular pentagon, like that. Okay, right. Now for this, what we'll do is consider some, say this is a polygon. Okay, so we know the property of regular polygon that that is the side. Okay, say this is n side. For example, if you take a hexagon, okay, a regular hexagon, you can consider it as a regular polygon, right? Now you can consider octagon, anything, any regular polygon, fine. Right, now what we know is that the side, right? Now the midpoint of the side, it will be perpendicular to the line joining the center. Okay, it will be perpendicular to the line joining the center, right? Now say this distance is r, right? This distance is r. Okay, right? And call the side length of the polygon as a. Okay, call the side length of polygon as a. Then you can write it as these two will be a by 2 and a by 2, correct? Now let us say the angle made, okay, the angle made by the, so these are these lines, you can treat them as r. Okay, so this will also be r. Okay, right. Now these two angles, let us call them as theta and theta. Okay, now current is flowing in this regular polygon in one particular sense. Let us say current is actually flowing in one particular sense, can be either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now let us find out what is the magnetic field due to this segment at the center. Okay, say O is the center, right? Then if this is due to one side, if the magnetic field at O, we'll calculate due to a single side, then we'll multiply it by n. So then we'll get magnetic field due to the complete polygon. Okay, so that is the whole idea, right? Now let us call this distance as x. Okay, so O2, the midpoint of the side. Okay, so you can call it as some x. Okay, let this be x, right? Fine. Right. Then let us try to use that formula, whatever we know. So here, because theta, right? So theta is same here. What you can do is B, right? B magnetic field at O, okay, at O, due to a single segment. Okay, due to a single segment, so it can be given as, so B is equal to, I'm just writing magnitude here, so it can be given as mu naught I divided by 4 pi r. Okay, so yeah, so r in this case it is actually the distance, right? So the distance is x. Okay, don't confuse with small r and x. Okay, so here usually we used to substitute r as the perpendicular distance from the wire to the point, right? So here it turns out to be x, right? It is not small r. So mu naught I divided by 4 pi x. Okay, then sine of this theta, and again you have sine theta. Okay, so finally this turns out to be 2 sine theta, right? So B you can write it as mu naught, it's better to write parallelly in your notes, 4 pi x into 2 sine theta. So finally it turns out to be mu naught I sine theta. So this will be mu naught I sine theta divided by 2 pi x. Okay, we'll get it as 2 pi x, right? Now if you come back to this diagram here, what you can do is, see, say a is the side length. Okay, a is the side length, and if you multiply it by n, okay, if you multiply it by n, for example, regular equilateral triangle, right? Equilateral triangle, n will be 3. Okay, n will be 3. Then 3a, correct? So 3a will be equal to 2 pi r, correct? So the length of the wire, okay, you should not change that, but you are free to change the number of sides which will make up a regular polygon. Okay, now by going by this idea, you can write NA, right? So you can write NA as 2 pi r. Okay, NA can be written as 2 pi r, right? Now and also if you observe this angle here, okay, if you observe this angle theta here, see, if this each angle is theta, then the complete angle I can write it as 2 theta, is it not? and the complete angle will be 2 theta here. Okay, then what is the angle made by the complete polygon? That is, if you start at this particular point, okay, say you will start at this particular point and you will completely cover the polygon, regular polygon, and you come back to the same point. What is the angle you have covered? 360 degrees, right? So you can say n times 2 theta, right? So you can also write n times 2 theta. That will actually give you 2 pi. Is it not correct? So 2 pi is 360 degrees, right? So here you can say n theta is equal to pi. Okay, n theta is equal to pi, right? So theta, theta you will get it as pi by n. Theta you will get it as pi by n from this, and from this expression you can write a as, okay, you can write a is equal to 2 pi r divided by n. Okay, yeah, that is right. So 2 pi by n into r. Okay, so let us keep these two things ready. All right, fine. All right, okay, now coming back here, yeah, so the next thing what you can do is, yes, so if you try to write tan theta, okay, from this diagram, if you write tan theta, okay, so tan theta you can actually write it as a by 2, correct? So it is a by 2 divided by x, correct? So a by 2 divided by x, all right, fine. So let us keep it here, right? Fine. Yeah, now I need to substitute for x, right? So that you can write it as x is equal to a by 2 tan theta, all right? So this implies x is equal to a divided by 2 tan theta, all right? X is equal to a by 2 tan theta, all right? Fine. Now let us put that value here. So b is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi. Now x we got it as a divided by 2 tan theta. Okay, a divided by 2 tan theta. Then for sine theta, yeah, so here for sine theta, let us keep it as sine theta for now. Okay, now what you can write is this b. If you do some arrangements here, so 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So b you can write it as mu naught I divided by pi a. Okay, then sine theta and cos theta, correct? Mu naught I divided by pi a into sine theta into cos theta. Then finally we'll get it as b is equal to mu naught I divided by pi a. Now what is theta? Theta we substituted it as pi by n. Okay, so mu naught I pi by a sine pi by n. Sorry, this is not cos, this is actually tan, right? So it's tan theta. Okay, tan pi by n. Okay, let me pause for a second. Okay, now this is due to each side, right? So this value whatever we have got, it is due to each side. Okay, now if you consider n sides, okay, so therefore the magnitude at center, okay, at center O, okay, it is given by n times b, right? So you'll get it as mu naught ni. So this will be mu naught, sorry, small n, mu naught ni divided by pi a into sine pi by n into tan pi by n. Okay, sine pi by n into tan pi by n. I think this is right. Yeah, mu naught I pi a, right? So this is the net magnetic field at the center of a regular polygon. Okay, regular polygon. Direction it can be given by the right hand rule. All right, fine. So yeah, you have the same result here. So yeah, the magnetic field right at the center of a regular polygon, it is given by n mu naught I divided by pi a sine multiplied by sine pi by n tan pi by n. So option 3. All right, fine. Now okay, moving on, let us see this topic. Magnetic field at the center of a current carrying loop and coil. Okay, coil of n turns, let us say capital N. Right, now here we have studied this already. So what we'll do is, if you have a current carrying loop, right? Say the current going through it is I, right? Now in this particular sense, the magnetic field will be given this way, right? The magnetic field will be given this way. Now if if r is the radius of the coil, right? If r is the radius of the loop, if you say, right, then the magnetic field at the center, right? Then magnetic field at the center, it will be given as mu naught I divided by 2r. Okay, mu naught I divided by 2r will say, right? Now if you consider n closely wound loops having the same radius, okay, for n closely wound loops, okay, so you can say the magnetic field at the center, it can be given as mu naught Ni divided by 2r. Okay, so I think we know this already. Now let us understand few tricky parts here. Right now, the problem, it goes like this. Say the question will be like this. So what is the magnetic field at the center of a loop? Okay, at the center of the loop, if a battery is, okay, now you can say center of a loop, if a battery is connected, okay, if a battery is connected at two of its points, at any two locations, okay, two of its points on the loop. Okay, so the diagram is something like this. So you can say this is the loop, right? Say this is the loop. Now these are point 1 and 2. Okay, now here we'll connect a battery. Okay, so we'll connect a battery and we'll see what is the case here, right? Now we'll connect positive terminal of the battery here, let us say, and the negative terminal of the battery will be connected here. All right, now what happens is current will split. Okay, so here let us talk about a specific case. Let us consider the wire is of same material. Okay, wire is of same material and uniform. Okay, wire is of same material and uniform, and at 2 points, point 1 and 2, you have connected a battery, right? Now what we will notice is that depending on the resistance, okay, depending on the resistance, see, now if you remember, this is like two resistors connected in parallel. How means it is easy? See, this is positive terminal, negative terminal. Say the current I is the total current, right? Now the current, right? So to keep one thing in mind, current always finds, okay, current always finds the least resistance path to flow. Okay, current always goes in the path which has least resistance. Okay, now here you will notice that you can name few points here. Let us say point A. Okay, point 1 and A both are same, you can say. Now point B and point C. Okay, now let us call it as point D. All right, now you will see this current I, it will split into two parts. Okay, I1, it will flow through ABC this way. Okay, then I2, okay, then I2 it will flow through ADC. Okay, say I1 is going through ADC, right? I1, it goes like this, it covers this path. Okay, it covers this path. Then you will see I2 which is covering this path, right? So I2 will cover, I2 will go this way, I1 will go this way. Eventually, see, at point A or at point 1, you can say it will split, and at point C, okay, at point C again they will recombine. Okay, they'll join again, and you will get back the total current I, which is going into the negative terminal of the battery. Okay, so this is the whole idea here. All right, now the question is, what is the magnetic field at the center in such a situation? Okay, so what it will be means, we'll see how to calculate. Now the assumption what we have made is wire is of some material, it is of the same material, and it is also uniform. Okay, uniform thickness. All right, fine. Now speaking of resistance, okay, now let us talk about electrical resistance. I think you know same thing, R, right? Electrical resistance R. Now resistance, we will say, if you take a wire, I'll try to explain it in a very simple way. Now this is a wire. Let us say you have wire 1 and wire 2. Okay, you have wire 1 and wire 2, right? Now this is of some length L. Okay, wire 1 is having length L1 and this is having length L2. Now cross sectional area of L1 wire 1, call it as A1. Okay, let it be A1. Now cross sectional area of wire 2, let it be A2. Okay, now what you will notice is that the resistance, right, it is actually directly proportional to L. This is what we observe, right? And resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. Okay, it is directly proportional to L and it is inversely proportional to area of cross section, right? If you are talking about a specific material, right? Now say you have two wires which is made of iron. Okay, you have a wire and you have an iron rod. Okay, you will notice if you take same length of iron wire and iron rod, you will observe that the resistance will be very less in that iron rod. The reason is it has bigger area of cross section. So the electrons are freely, they're able to move freely. Okay, so if the electrons are able to move freely, the resistance of it is less. Okay, and if the electrons have to travel a farther distance, the resistance what they encounter will be more. Alright, so therefore remembering those two things, you can clearly say, you can remember this resistance will be directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to area of cross section. Now from this you can say resistance is directly proportional to L by A. Okay, now once you remove the proportionality constant, okay, so you will get something like R is equal to rho L by A. Okay, now this rho, right, so rho we'll call it as the resistivity. Okay, resistivity we'll say, right, its unit will be ohm meter. Right, so resistivity or specific resistance. Okay, better stick to resistivity. All right, so resistivity means it is dependent on the particular material. Okay, it is dependent on particular material. Right, now we don't usually use iron for electrical wiring, even though it is cheap. The reason is it has high resistivity. We'll mostly use copper, and you might have studied the best conductor for electricity so far. It is silver at normal conditions. Okay, silver is the best conductor of electricity at normal conditions. That is what we have seen. Okay, so these different materials, they'll be having different properties. Okay, when it comes to electrical conduction, how they allow electric current to pass through them. So those properties, right, those properties will account for this resistivity. Right, now R is equal to rho L by A. Okay, so remember this. Fine. Okay, right, now coming back here, now what you will notice is that the current flowing, which is the current which is flowing in ABC, right, so the current is actually I1, right. Now you can say R ABC, right, so therefore since R is proportional to L, resistance of the path ABC is greater than resistance of the path ADC. Okay, now in parallel combination in your tensionet probably you would have studied. Again in chapter 3 we'll study. Right, now more is the resistance, less will be the current. Okay, so in general you can say I1, right, so I1 it will actually be less than I2. Okay, I1 will actually be less than I2. We'll prove that. All right, so I1 will be less than I2. All right, so this is what we'll see. Okay, because here area, right, uniform thickness means area of cross section is same. All right, now due to this, what will be the magnetic field at the center? Okay, so in such situation, what will be the magnetic field at the center O? Okay, that is the question. All right, now what we'll do is, if you remember this, earlier, say the angle made by the arc ADC, okay, so call it as some alpha. Okay, now the angle made by the arc ABC, okay, let us call it as some beta. So let this be alpha. Okay, let this be alpha and let us call this as beta. Okay, let this be beta. Right, now it's like this. Magnetic field at the center is given by mu naught I divided by 2r. Right, now this is for the complete circle, complete loop. Now if it was for a semicircle, then we would actually divide it by 2. Right, now how to express this 1 by 2 in terms of angle means you could have written something like this. So you can write 180 degree divided by 360 degree. All right. Now what is the magnetic field due to a quarter circle means you could have written it as, so it makes sense to say 1/4, right? So 1/4 of the complete loop for a quarter circle I am saying. Okay. Then you could have written 90 divided by 360. It turns out to be 1/4, right? Now how to say in terms of angles means you can actually say it as in general. Okay. In general, if the angle is some alpha, so you can say alpha divided by 2 pi. Okay, you can call it as alpha divided by 2 pi, right? Fine. Okay, so this will be alpha divided by 2 pi. All right, fine. Excuse me. Yeah, so this result you can so this result you can write it as mu naught I divided by 2r times, then this will be alpha divided by 2 pi. So yeah, so totally you could have written it as mu naught I alpha divided by 4 pi r. Okay, right, you don't have to by heart this formula, so it's just based on logic. All right, fine. Now remember, this is the magnetic field at the center due to an arc which is subtending an angle alpha, right? Right. So the alpha is the angle this is magnetic field due to an arc. Okay, arc at the center of curvature. At the center of curvature. Right, at the center of curvature. So the radius of curvature is r. Angle subtended by the arc is alpha. All right, fine. Now if you remember this. So if you can apply this the same case for this problem here, so you could have written it like let us say the magnetic field due to A B C. Okay, the magnetic field due to A B C, it can be written as mu naught I divided by 4 pi r. Okay, times alpha, correct? Then BABC, right? Sorry, this is BADC, right? So BADC will be mu naught. So sorry, ABC, right? The current which is flowing through ABC is I1, all right? And the angle what it subtends, right? So the angle what it subtends, you can call it as beta, right? It is actually beta. Now this is mu naught I2, then alpha whole thing divided by 4 pi r. Okay, now if you get the ratio of these two, okay, so if you get the ratio of these two, you can write B ABC divided by B ADC, that will be equal to I1 beta divided by I2 alpha. Okay, I1 beta divided by I2 alpha. Now one more thing what you observe is that, see here, the potential difference between point A and C, otherwise you can call it as 1 and 2, right? Earlier I have taken 1 and 2, right? Now the potential difference between point 1 and 2 is same. Okay, then you can say that is V can be written as, now let R2, okay, let R2 be the resistance of the segment ADC. Okay, so you can write here, let R2 be the resistance of segment, okay, segment ADC. Then R1, it can be resistance of segment ABC. Okay, it can be the resistance of the segment ABC. Sorry, R1. I'm sorry, R1. Let it be the resistance of segment ADC. R2, let it be the segment resistance of segment ABC. Okay. What confusion, man. I'm sorry. Let us go back to the same thing. See here, the diagram is confusing me. So R1, let it be the segment resistance of the segment ABC only. Okay, so R1 let it be for ABC, then R2 let it be for ADC. Okay, so ADC I2, resistance is R2, ABC current is I1, resistance is also R1. Let us keep it that way. Fine. Now you can actually write, yeah, from here you could have written like R1, right? So R1 since R is proportional to L, you can write R1 is proportional to L1, okay, and R2 is proportional to L2. So you can say L1, right? So L1 is actually the length of arc ABC, okay, call it that way. Now R2, it is the length of arc ADC, right? Fine. Now let me draw the diagram here again. So it is like this. So A, then B, so this is D, and this is C, right? Now these are the angles alpha and beta, right? So this is alpha and this is beta. Now yes, so current here, the current going is I2 and the current going here is I1, right? Fine. Now next what we can do is L1, right? Now if you substitute here, you can say, yeah, from this relation you can write R1, yeah, so R1 divided by R2, you can write it as L1 divided by L2, right? So remember this. Then one more thing what you can do here is alpha, right? So the radius is actually R, okay, radius of the loop, fine. Then alpha, you can write it as alpha, that is, it is actually given as arc length, correct? So that is L2. So ADB, that is actually L2. Now ACB, correct? ACB, I think this is ABC, right? Yeah, ABC, sorry. Yeah, ABC, right? ABC, it is L1. This length is L1, okay? Right, so alpha, you can write it as, you know, right? We'll write S is equal to R theta. So theta will be arc length divided by radius, right? So same way, alpha is equal to arc length divided by radius. So L1 divided by, L1 divided by R, okay? So this is actually L1 divided by R, then alpha 2, right? So alpha 2, sorry, not alpha 2, beta, okay? So beta will be equal to what I have taken for okay, length of R1 is equal to L1, okay, right? So L1 it is for ABC, right? Right. Fine. So L1, so this is actually L2, okay? Alpha is L2, sorry, alpha is L2 divided by R. Beta will be L1 divided by R, okay? So okay, so beta will be L1 divided by R, right? Now for L1 by L2, okay, so if you take alpha by beta, right? So if you take alpha by beta, so you'll end up getting L2 divided by L1, okay? You'll end up getting L2 divided by L1, right? So R1 by R2 is L1 divided by L2, alpha by beta is L2 by L1, okay? Now if you substitute it in this equation, we'll get, so for beta by alpha, okay, see here you got, for beta by alpha I can substitute L2 divided by L1, okay? Yeah, so for beta by alpha I can substitute L2 divided by L1, right? So BABC divided by BABC divided by BADC, so that will be equal to I1 by I2, so I1 divided by I2, then this is actually L2 divided by L1, okay? Alpha by beta is L2 by L1, so beta by alpha it will be L1 by L2, okay? So L1 by L2, right? Now what is L1 by L2? I can write L1 by L2, I can write it as R1 by R2, right? So I1 divided by L2, then this is R1 by R2, right? Now we know that since the I1 R1, right? So I1 R1, it tells you the potential difference, right? So you know, since voltage, okay, so that is voltage between 1 and 2, the first 2 points whatever I consider, the points where we connect the battery, right? So it is equal to, V is equal to I1 R1, you can say, that is also equal to I2 R2. I told you it is in terms of electrical resistance, this is what you will get. So in your 10th standard probably you would have studied like this, right? So R1 then R2, right? Then connect both of them to a battery, right? Then we'll say V is common, right? So V, it can be written as I1 R1 and I2 R2, all right? So same way. So if you substitute here, you'll get it as V divided by V, which is equal to 1. Okay. Now what you will notice is that BABC by BADC is 1. So that will be BADC is equal to BABC, correct? Now if you see in terms of the direction, okay, the magnitudes due to the current flowing in both the segments, that is ABC and ADC, we found it to be equal, but it will be opposite in direction. If you see I1 is in clockwise sense, I2 is in anti-clockwise sense. So the net magnetic field, right, the net magnetic field at the center, it turns out to be 0. Okay. Now how to understand it logically? So it is something like, it is actually easy. See, even though the angle made by this ABC, arc ABC, it is more, okay, the current flowing through that ABC will be less, correct? So the current flowing, right, the current flowing, the magnetic field, it depends on 2 factors. What is that? We'll say B is equal to, that is for this current carrying loop, right? So it is I divided by R, mu naught I divided by 2R, right? So if you observe this I and R, okay, see I1, it was actually less for segment ABC, but R was actually more, right? R was actually more, right? So this drop, this fraction of I by R, this fraction I by R, it is actually same for, both the, or sorry, this is actually alpha, right? Yeah, so I have to substitute beta, okay, sorry. This will be beta divided by what is that, 2 pi, okay, beta divided by 2 pi will also come, okay, right? So more is the arc length, okay, more is the arc length. If you are choosing the wire to be of the same material, okay, then more is the arc length, more will be the resistance, less will be the current, okay. If the current will become less, obviously the magnetic field at the center will become, it will be less, okay. Now the magnetic field due to both the arcs, they are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So that is the reason we'll get the net magnetic field at the center to be 0 only if the wire is of same material and uniform thickness, okay. So you can I hope you understood this. So please write in your notes step by step, then you'll understand, okay. Yeah, finally what you can conclude is, you can say the net magnetic field is 0 and it is free, and you can say it is free from the angle between the connections, okay, free from the angle between the connections. So no matter how you connect, okay, no matter how you connect this terminals to the point, okay, the 2 points on the loop, okay, so you will still find the net magnetic field at the center to be 0. All right, fine, okay, right. So let us see in the next class.